A very good evening to all of you that are joining with us on the Blind Walk, the talk show, which is a slightly new take to the annual Blind Walk that we usually do. And this year we were all set to go on the 10th of October, but unfortunately, with the current COVID-19 pandemic situation that occurred, we decided to respectfully adhere to the guidelines provided by the ministry for everybody's health and safety. So Blind Walk is an award-winning project organized by what we like to call the Midtown family. That is the Rotary Club of Colombo Midtown, together with their sponsoring Rotary clubs, which is the Rotary Club of Achievers Lanka Business School, ACBT, Colombo Midtown, and University of Colombo Faculty of Management and Finance. So I could talk more about Blind Walk, but I wouldn't do it as much justice as these two gentlemen that I have here with me today. Today we have Rotarian Paul Harris Fellow Mayur Varia and also Rotarian past President Paul Harris Fellow Hussein Fazli Abbas. Blind Walk, like I said before, is being taken forward with a new intake this year because unfortunately we had to cancel the physical event. But we did not want to let go of the beautiful cause that we organized Blind Walk for the first place. And that's why we are doing the talk show. And which is why today we will be talking about the reason, the cause behind it, and also why exactly we do Blind Walk at a specific time each year. So that brings me to my first question to Rotarian Mayur. This is for you, to enlighten us about World Sight Day.
Yeah, World Sight Day is an initiative of the World Health Organization, and it is managed by the International Agency for Prevention of Blindness, IAPB. This was the main reason to start it because there is blindness and preventable blindness all over the world, and to raise awareness that it was initiated. And every year the theme changes. Yeah. This year for 2020 it is Hope in Sight, and I believe that it exactly portrays what is required, because there is, without sight, without the ability to see, there is really no hope, and Hope in Sight really puts that into perspective.
Okay, thank you for that. So basically that is why we organize Blind Walk in October every year to go.
Yeah, it's the second Thursday of every October, and that's the day set as the World Sight
Day. Right. So you brought two concepts out, which is preventable blindness and vision impairment. So could you explain us what these two concepts are, and to what extent are these sort of ignored in Sri Lanka or not recognized in Sri Lanka?
Okay, if you take preventable blindness, the main causes would be requiring a pair of spectacles as a vision aid, cataract surgery, and of course the other illnesses that prevent or cause loss of vision. So diabetes, AMD, all that is included in that. We in Sri Lanka have pioneered the corneal graft, and that is one huge thing that the world is today reaping the benefits of, because I believe we send in something like about 200 corneas per month to around the world, and in many cases this is obtained free of charge because people donate their eyes at death. But preventable blindness is another area which there is a lot of need. I mean, even a pair of spectacles, whilst many of us who live in urban areas do not know it, but out there are lots of children who today either stay at home or have become backward in their class because just the lack of a pair of spectacles. The other cause, of course, is cataract. If you take our faculties, the 5 senses that we have, you can live a fairly decent life without any of those. But you take away sight, and it's a whole new ball game altogether, where they become a burden on their immediate family, their society they live, and thereby on the country. And it's a huge burden, because today we know cataract surgery is something you go in the morning and by afternoon you're back at home. So these are the things that are really required today.
Okay, so stemming from your answer that you said about how much it is needed in Sri Lanka, I would like to now direct to Rotarian Hussein to talk about how the inception of Blind Walk happened in Sri Lanka, and also the reason behind starting it during your tenure as a president of the Rotary Club of Colombo Midtown.
Okay, so just a little bit of background is that the the whole concept of the blind walk came about through this group called Project Vision. Project Vision was set up in Bangalore, I think in 2013, and it was founded by this gentleman called Father George Kananthanam. And the whole concept of doing the blind walk was to encourage the donation of one's eyes so that the numbers of blind people in the world, which I think stands, there's a debate about that, but I think it stands around 42 million, would not increase. So the idea was make sure there are enough corneas available to give to the people who needed it and who could be prevented from moving on to the stage of complete blindness, where then it's irreversible. So in 2016, which was my year as president, I got a random email from Father George asking if we would be a part of the blind walk on World Sight Day. That year it was the 13th of October. And we talked to him. I had no idea what it meant, so we had to very quickly learn what it was all about, and then take it upon ourselves with, of course, the able support of the Rotaractors, without whom we can't do more of this, to put it all together. And just to say that it is really a wonderful thing for me to see that in spite of the conditions, in spite of where we are today, we're still doing something to take on and have this vision going. In 2016, when we first did the blind walk, it was 55, I think it was done simultaneously in 55 locations in 5 countries that span from India to the United States. So we were honored to be asked to be part of it, and I think we did justice at the time.
I'm sure. So coming back to Rotarian Mayur, I would like to ask you, since were talking about preventable blindness, what are the short-term and long-term impacts of not treating preventable blindness?
Okay, so if you take a school-going child, our eye is a wonderful thing. It affects every part of our body, from the growth of our brain to the learning ability, so on and so forth. So, to give you an example, I have a child who, when she was 6 or 7 years old, was found that she required correction with spectacles. And till she was 10, she never got a pair of spectacles because the parents were, economically challenged and couldn't afford a pair of glasses. And even her class teachers had considered her a backward child, and she was just going along. But when she was 10 years old, she got her first pair of glasses, and today she has finished her O-levels, and I believe she had 8 A's and a B, and is a school prefect and so on and so forth. So just to show you the difference, at pair of spectacles, which cost, under the present system 700-800 rupees, what a huge thing it has done. Then I've got records of a 55-year-old mother of 2 children, considered blind in one eye, and was unable to go about her work simply because she had cataract and she had no knowledge that it can be operated. And so eventually she got caught into a program in Sri Lanka called Vision 2020, and a free cataract surgery was done, and today she's a fully functioning person. So if you just look at it, 800 rupees, and the life has changed for that child. Same thing for a cataract surgery, it's done free of charge in Sri Lanka. And so short term it's a life-changing thing, and of course long term you become a burden to society that you're in, and Sri Lanka can ill afford to have yet another burden on itself, where you have blind people, which can be prevented very easily with a few rupees.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we've been striving to do with Blind Walk as well. So coming back to Rotarian Hussein, can you talk to us about the history of Blind Walk in Sri Lanka, in the sense how we have been carrying it out for the past few years?
Okay, so like I said, in 2016, we got this email from Father George. I did, and I think it was the first week of October, maybe around the 5th of October, and he said he wanted us to do this on the 13th. So we quickly talked to our Rotaractors, and it was amazing how it was mobilized. And we were learning. We didn't know what this was about, so we took lessons from what they had done elsewhere, got some pointers from Father George, put those together, and we had that first event based at the University of Colombo on the grounds. And the whole purpose of doing this is really to teach people or show people what it is like to function without your eyesight. And so basically the theme that we followed, and we have followed through the years when we have done this, is essentially blindfold sighted people and have them walk, and we usually do about 1 kilometer. And at the end of that, it's amazing the reaction that we get from everybody who has done that walk. I mean, the immediate reaction is, how on earth do people go through life with this? And I think that's really the message that the Project Vision people wanted to pass on. And I think, I don't have the stats for last year. I don't know how many places it was carried out. But like I said, originally, when we started, it was 55 places in 5 countries. And I'm sure it has grown, because I think the people behind it are so passionate and want to so much do this. And just to give you an example, that first year, what we did was we did the walk. Then we ended up at the university grounds. We did a human mosaic, which was drawn out on the floor of a blind person with a white cane, and had some drone pictures taken. It was, again, this took a lot of effort, but in very little time. So, and then, like we have done through the years, we followed it with a little program, musical program. We had, the first year, we had people from the blind school who were present, gave them gifts. And of course, the critical thing, and one of the things that we wanted to achieve, is make sure that people understood enough to be able to donate their eyes. So I think we continue to do it. I think we had the walk again in 2017. And then we skipped 2018, and then once more in 2019, it was done again on a grand scale. I think we had over, if I'm not mistaken, about 150 participants in the walk itself, and lots more with the volunteers and the others who showed up, family, friends, relations, and Rotarians, Rotaractors. And we had a wonderful, wonderful time. And again, I think the message went through, because last year, if I'm not mistaken, we had about 120 pledges for their eyes. And I hope we have a similar reaction this year. I know it's not physical, but I think the reach of social media should help us try to achieve as much as we did last year.
So, sir, as you said, like as someone who has myself participated in the blind walk, it's truly a feeling that one can relate to as to what it is like to be blind, and it does make you want to do something about it. And that brings me to a question towards the Rotarian Mayur, is that how bad is the situation actually in Sri Lanka, and how much help is actually needed?
It's simply as much as you can give.
Yeah.
Statistics for school children is around 10% presently.
Yeah.
And that, mind you, is not having gone through all rural schools. So numbers may be even higher. And I keep coming back to this. If you catch them young, you can really make a difference in their lives. Because I've at the same time seen students who didn't have access to pair of spectacles, and how backward they are, and you know, they are in a somewhat of a hopeless situation. So it is bad, and as much help that you can give or we can get is there.
Okay. So that brings me to my last question, that is to you, Rotarian Hussein, is that, like you said, we have strived towards bringing or giving as much help as we can for this cause. So if you can give me this, to the best of your knowledge, the scope and amount of donations and I-pledges that we have done from Blind Walk through the past few years.
Okay. So initially, when we started Blind Walk, it was done purely as a project from the Rotary Club of Colombo Midtown. There was no sponsorship sought, there was no monies brought in, it was not done as a fundraising project. So the first 2 years, 2016, 2017, it was paid for out of the funds of the club. But I think last year, I think one of the things that happened was we had this gentleman who actually came and spoke to us at the club, at our club. And the information that he gave, which he just shared with us, was really something that was eye-opening. And so the club decided that we would look to find ways where not only pass the message and get pledges of eyes, but also look at ways where we could address the preventative blindness factor. And so last year, I think after everything was said and done and all the expenses were paid, we were left with something close to, I don't know, about 180,000, which we then teamed up with another group that he talked about, which was Vision 2020, and thought that with this money, which is not a big sum of money, but I think little drops of water, so put it together with something that Vision 2020 was doing, and look at how we could be part of a bigger thing. And we did. We pledged the money to them, and that went through their program to the school children. We wanted it to reach at that age because we feel that that is where it is important that we reach and find a way that the potential of those kids could be reached just by simply giving them a pair of glasses at, I think, 700 or 710 rupees or something like that. So that's what happened last year. And as you know, this year, we had great plans to do this walk. Everything was in place. But unfortunately, the situation doesn't allow us to do it. But I think the enthusiasm and the need to do something is still there. And, it is amazing because we had our board meeting yesterday, started the fundraising campaign. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, as of now, we have already met or very close to meeting all the requirements that they had. We started off saying we'll try to do as much as we can. But in a matter of 24 hours or less, I think there was been an amazing response. So I think people understand the need for it. And one of the other things we have done is also written and asked for a district grant from the Rotary Foundation to, again, put that money again towards Vision 2020 and try to help a few more of those students who need it. So I think it's an amazing thing. I'm really thrilled to see how it has grown from where we started. And I think if we didn't have this situation right now, it would have been an amazing event. However, I don't think it has stopped us in any way to do and reach the goals that we needed to reach. And I think next year we'll look at doing it even bigger and even better. And it's a part of the club's DNA now. I mean, trying to get involved in projects that deal with the visually impaired. So thank you again to all you guys for putting this thing together. So
thank you so much for joining us. As an ending note, is there anything else both of you would like to tell to our viewers?
Well, as Hussein said, what the road tractors are doing is amazing. I mean, even this thing today, put in together by you all, amazing, and we are so thrilled to be a part and parcel of their endeavors in doing something for the vision impact. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, I share those sentiments exactly.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for joining with us. As our humble attempt to raise awareness about a beautiful cause in terms of a talk show comes to an end, on behalf of all the organizing clubs, I would like to invite all of you to please donate for this beautiful cause, as all the donations you make will be directed towards helping out the visually impaired people. And also I invite you to pledge to donate your eyes, as that will give sight to one who does not have it. You can always get in touch with us through our Facebook page, which is Blind Walk 2020, and also through the details that will be listed in the screen.
Hi. I spent about 12 years of my life in a leprosy center in Bangalore. Quite a few of my leprosy inmates had lost their eyesight. They were completely blind. And having lived with them for about 12 years, I was looking at what is the best way to help them. And as you would know, there cannot be a greater gift to a visually challenged person than giving them sight. Therefore, I was looking at ways of enabling them to see, and that is how a few of us founder members came together to launch this program called Project Vision in 2013. So while discussing about what is the best way to help the people who are blind, we thought giving them sight is the best gift, and so donation of eyes would be one of the best strategies that we should work on. It is then that we realized that globally there are about 40 million people who are blind, and India as a country, we had about 15 million out of them. And through eye donation, about 20% of them can get sight. So to promote this concept of eye donation, we devised this program called Blind Walk. Blind Walk is to help the sighted people to have an experience of what does it mean to be blind. So we blindfold them and then give an experience of what it means to be blind. And we captioned it as Feel Being Blind. So this program was conceptualized in 2014, and that's how we started with the Blind Walk program. So as we were looking at expanding the eye donation campaign and specifically the Blind Walk program to various countries, we thought Sri Lanka is the best option, because already Sri Lanka is a champion in the world for eye donations. And we thought by conducting blind walks in Sri Lanka, we could already expand on the goodwill and the great practice of eye donation already existing in the community, and then have more people to donate the eyes. So it was with this purpose that we contacted a few of our friends in Sri Lanka. I think it was in 2017 that we had the first blind walk, and Rotary Club was right from the beginning involved in doing it. And we had also our own friends, Father Yeshudas and other people who helped us to organize this program there. So we have been seeing the kind of enthusiasm with which the Colombo team was working, and I think every year without fail so far the blind walk was conducted there. We had very enthusiastic participation of various groups from there. I think also in multiple locations in Sri Lanka, later on the blind walk was conducted. For the last 3-4 years, we had such wonderful response. I'm so happy that this year also, though it is not possible to have a physical walk, well, you, the Rotarians, are coming forward to organize it in a more attractive way where anybody from anywhere can participate. So all the best, and my experience of living with the blind people has taught me that if through our efforts, even if one person gets sight, well, it is a great satisfaction and joy for us, and a life-changing intervention for the person who gets it. Let us all commit to allow our eyes to live after our death, and let us ensure that as many people as possible, we are able to motivate them to do eye donation through our efforts. All the best. God bless. So as we were looking at expanding the eye donation campaign and specifically the blind walk program to various countries, we thought Sri Lanka is the best option because already Sri Lanka is a champion in the world for eye donations. And we thought by conducting blind walks in Sri Lanka, we could already expand on the goodwill and the great practice of eye donation already existing in the community, and then have more people to donate the eyes. So it was with this purpose that we contacted a few of our friends in Sri Lanka. I think it was in 2017 that we had the first blind walk, and Rotary Club was right from the beginning involved in doing it. And we had also our own friends, Father Yeshudas and other people who helped us to organize this program there. So we have been seeing the kind of enthusiasm with which the Colombo team was working, and I think every year without fail so far the blind walk was conducted there. We had very enthusiastic participation of various groups from there. I think also in multiple locations in Sri Lanka, later on the blind walk was conducted. For the last 3-4 years, we had such wonderful response. I'm so happy that this year also, though it is not possible to have a physical walk, well, you, the Rotarians, are coming forward to organize it in a more attractive way where anybody from anywhere can participate. So all the best, and my experience of living with the blind people has taught me that if through our efforts, even if one person gets sight, well, it is a great satisfaction and joy for us, and a life-changing intervention for the person who gets it. Let us all commit to allow our eyes to live after our death, and let us ensure that as many people as possible, we are able to motivate them to do eye donation through our efforts. All the best. God bless.
Hello there, a very good evening to all of you. First and foremost, I wish and pray and hope that all of you are doing well, staying safe, and taking care of those who are loved by you and those who love you. Because the testing times are as such that we are presented with a numerous number of challenges when it comes to human interactions, and we as humans are the ones that could always be there for one another, supporting one another, and who can understand one another. Now, we as Rotaractors have definitely evolved fast when it comes to the challenging times that we are presented with. Even though just a couple of weeks back we were working on how we could physically carry out the initiatives that we were looking at, and how we could render a human service towards those in need. All of a sudden, with the outbreak of the pandemic again in a second wave, well, we are asked, or rather we are requested to be back to normalcy, which was the normalcy, the new normal that we were speaking about, where the world was shifting its operations towards virtuality. Well, we as Rotaractors, like I mentioned before, have definitely stood tall and have always found out new ways of connecting with one another and connecting to those in need and standing up for those in need when the need for service has arisen. Well, Blind Walk is one such initiative that also speaks in volume about our bond towards Rotary and how Rotary and Rotaract could work together so that it facilitates better for the people who deserves and the people who wants our service to be reaching out to them. All of us humans have taken our lives for granted, at least most of us, and the things that we are gifted with, we never take the good care of it, or we never take the value of it or them for the real value that they stand for. Think about our lives, where all of us compare and contrast things that we see and that we look forward to see and that we wish to see. But think about our own brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, and every other human that is there who still does not know what it looks like to see the world, and who might not even know what the favorite thing that they wish to see in the world looks like, or favorite person that they wish to see in their world look like, and that is because of the visual difficulties and challenges that they have. These are things that we as humans have taken for granted. Even though we've been gifted them, we've never understood that there are people within us, amongst us, who still face such challenges. So understanding such contexts, I think what the Rotary Club of Colombo Midtown, along with the Rotary clubs of Colombo Midtown family, are doing is just tremendously phenomenal. And standing for those who need our service, even during such challenging times, is just phenomenal. And I think I should definitely commend the efforts of each and every Rotarian and Rotaractor who's out there working hard to give the visual freedom, the liberty that all of us are enjoying to those who are in need of it. So I would like to congratulate all the Rotaractors and Rotarians of the Rotaract and Rotary Midtown family for collaborating together and coming together even amidst these challenging times, where we would have obviously enjoyed being there in presence, physically present, so that we could have at least experienced what it means to be there, cut off from our visuals that we are getting for at least a constant time, that which Blind Walk has provided us for a long time. But what I would say, our opportunities to serve are just tremendously important, especially during challenging times as this. So while I wish all the very best for the rest of the proceedings, I would like to also request all our Rotaractors and Rotarians to be there to help such worthy causes as Blind Walk, where you could maybe assist financially so that we could help another person see the world. And this is something that I would think all of us would definitely could look at. And I myself am a person who have pledged to donate my eyes when the time is right, when we have to all depart. So I think that is something that all of us could also look into contributing towards, because what we are doing is the eyes that we close are the eyes that could be opening up a brand new world for another person. So my humble request to all of you is think beyond our time of existence, because we all humans at one point have to depart, and the world that we see right now is a gift that we have gotten. So enjoy while it can, and also make sure during your presence you do something substantial so that you can open up a whole different world for another person. I wish all the very best to all the Rotaractors and Rotarians of Colombo Midtown family for carrying on something truly remarkable even amidst these challenging times, and I wish you all the very best with your future endeavors. And I hope all of you will contribute tremendously towards this worthy cause, and making sure while you remain to stay safe and take well care of yourselves amidst these such challenging times during a global pandemic. Have yourself a fabulous evening. Thank you very much.
And that brings us to the end of the Blind Walk, the talk show. Thank you so much for joining with us, and we encourage you once again to keep on donating to make someone else's life better, as we leave with the message that make sure you are a reason that someone else's hope in sight comes into reality. We'll see you in Blind Walk 2021, hopefully physically.